When someone passes, where do they go? Gone forever, or can they show? What if you could find someone between to bridge the gap of those unseen?
I see departed souls, and I'm able to communicate with them. I get messages from beyond, from your lost loved ones. You may be surprised at what they have to say.
And ladies and gentlemen, here she is for the final time of this season. Let's hear it for Michele Livingston. Hey, Michele, how are you, sweetheart?
Hi there. Hi, John. For the final time of this season, but I will be returning. I will be back.
Yes, you will. It's great to have you back. And I hear that you had a wonderful seminar.
Oh, I'm telling you, thanks for asking. It was a wonderful seminar. About half to 2/3 of the people were new, and many were UBN listeners and watchers. Some traveled long distances to get there. The energy was amazing, and we had fantastic readings. Sold a lot of books. They loved the books, and they even mentioned my interview with Christoph last week.
Oh, great!
He was on with Celine Dion.
Yeah, about manifestation and
synchronicity. And some people said it gave them really the encouragement to follow their dreams and to be serious about their dreams and to manifest. It was wonderful.
That's
great questions. It was my very first time there at the Quentin Riding Club in PA. I'll probably be back, but I'm telling you, the watchers, the listeners and the viewers are fantastic. So God bless all of you. John Williams and I have been on, can you believe it, for 8 months so far?
It's been a while, huh?
We had a little interim hiatus in there when I had some foot surgery, but over and above that, John, it's been 8 months.
Wow.
And just wanted to finish off the season with a review of some of my books. And anybody have any questions for me, that would be great. And we will be doing readings. So I will, we have the call number. Oh yeah, we have the call number.
We do.
So I'll be doing some readings. And how was your week, sir?
It's been busy. It's been a busy one. And very intense energies going on right now too. Have you been feeling it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always jokingly say, it's still in retrograde, and you laugh at me. Are we in retro?
No, I mean, we are in retro in the sense of there is Saturn in retrograde, and I believe Pluto is in retrograde. But as far as Mercury and all the ones that people are mostly familiar with, no. So that's what's interesting, is that we're really feeling it on a deeper level. I think this is really causing, for me anyway, to look at repetitive patterns, look at what routine is, look at changing up that routine, look at what's serving me, what's not. I mean, it's a very introspective time, let's put it that way.
I was just going to say introspective.
Yeah.
So you are reevaluating.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of things.
Regrouping. Yeah, and you're finding how the universe is supporting that, I guess, in ways that it's frustrating. But that's if we, in many ways, I guess the word is resist the ending or resist the change, resisting the change,
or the go with the flow.
Yeah. Change is constant. Suffering is a choice.
Oh, wow. That's a deep one.
Right?
Well, I don't know how many phone readings I've done the last couple of weeks where people are moving on.
Yeah.
And they're moving to different states, and they have left everything behind. I mean, jobs.
Yeah.
They've left their accessories, furniture, homes. And when the universe knows that you're serious about moving on, when you're able to relinquish and let go of the past, that is huge.
Yeah.
Energy is energy. And so what you're saying basically to the universe is, look at me, I can release, I can let go of the past, I can move on now. And so when you do that, doors swing open, opportunities present themselves. It's a little bit scary to say goodbye to the past insofar as change goes.
Yes.
But change is healthy, and change is growth. And it's a transition period. And it's interesting that you're mentioning all of this, John, because at least 3 of my clients the last few weeks have said the same thing.
Yeah.
But we're very proud that they had the courage to say, that's the past. I'm going on. I'm moving on. When you are in a situation, even if you're in a home 25 years, there's a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
Just using as an example.
Sure.
Or if you're a collector of things, it's difficult to relinquish, even though they're just material items. It's difficult sometimes to relinquish things.
Yeah.
As I said, but go people, go with the flow. Don't do anything too crazy. But know that you'll be provided for and taken care of. And I think, John, this is where faith comes in. I don't want to sound too Pollyanna, but it is true.
Yeah.
With trusting our own feelings, with faith to know we're going to be provided for. That's the big one.
Yeah. This too shall pass, as they say.
Yes,
when you're going through the storm, so to speak. But it looks beautiful where you're at. Look at the bling that you're wearing. Look,
I got all my blingy shells on. I figured, hey, go out with a bag.
Well, the water's reflecting off of it. It looks like back there. It looks gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, John. You are such a bright light in this world. So many people love you and have listened to your music and your compositions, and they just rave about us working together as a team and how we play off each other. So you're the best co-host I could ever hope for, wish for, and I'm just so happy that we've met, not physically even, but spiritually.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that James brought us together, and we've had a wonderful run, and I am just grateful that you are in my life. I mean, you're an incredible friend, and not just someone I work with doing the show, but an incredible friend. So
thank you, dear.
You have
the run's not over. The run has just begun.
Oh no, exactly. I just mean we talk in seasons here, so you know.
Yes. Yeah. For this season, the run's over, but there's going to be the next season.
Exactly. So what I wanted to say for those who didn't get a chance to see you at the workshop, at the seminar, we are, as we have teased in the past, going to be offering a version of that online. So what that means and how that's going to differ a little bit from the show now is that you're actually going to be able to see Michele, and she's going to be able to see you. And we're going to try to increase to have as many people on camera as possible so that it's like a studio audience. And we're going to bring different people up on stage to receive readings, to ask questions. It's going to be a very, very cool endeavor that we're working out. And we're going to need some people to help us test that coming up very, very soon. So what we would like for you to do is to go to Michele's website. That's Michele Livingston 1L.com, and then click on sign up for her newsletter. That way we have your contact information and we can reach out to you and we can get a beta test, as they call it in the industry, together so that we can test out some of the functionality before we go live with the actual seminar. So we love for those folks who are interested, who have a webcam or actually, you can even do it by your phone. You can. It's very portable, so you can even do it. Join us by phone. We just ask that if you do, that it be a quiet space. I've seen some of these meetings happen where people are actually at the playground with their children. They are out grocery shopping, various different things. But I know that that's the convenience of having a cell phone and being able to listen to you on demand. But we do ask that for the sake of everyone involved. that you be in a quiet area for the broadcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, a couple of shows ago, several people wrote to me and said, I have a webcam. I'm at your disposal. Just let us know what you want us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make it early enough that people overseas can watch it. That was another request I had. One was from Australia and Switzerland. Please make it in the early afternoon, because the later it gets, I think I air at 1 o'clock in the morning overseas. And we are also looking at August. I just wanted to put that out to people. So if you're at all interested, this is something very innovative.
Yes.
It's new technology, and I'll get to see you and actually interact with you personally. You can ask questions. I can do readings for you. We'll do some more in-depth work with the books. So if you're interested, let me know. And again, like John said, please sign up for my newsletter. All you do is go to my website, and there's a button that you click, and that button will take you to where you sign up with your email address. And then we'll keep you posted about it and what's going on.
That'll be great. That'll be great. So, and then in terms of content and what we'll be discussing, we'll be looking at all your different books and really focusing in on different chapters and different topics that we've explored on the show that were very popular, but go more in depth and also give you a chance for Michele to see you and to interact and to, you know, have a really good time online. We're looking at the time, which, you know, at this point it's at least an hour and a half. It could be up to 2 hours depending on how we're going to structure everything. But as you can see on the screen, all of Michele's books are available online. So we have Visions from Mary, we have Messages from Beyond, Living in the Afterlife, and Miraculous Encounters. And Michelle's latest one is Living in the Afterlife. And Michele, talk about that one a little bit for us.
Okay. Well, that was the one that I wrote. It took 4 years of development. And we discuss it off and on. There's also other ones I just briefly want to mention that I don't think we even mentioned. But there were souls that came through, especially my dear mother, who was an English teacher, and said that you're going to write a book on heaven. I'll help you with it. It's sometimes not what we perceive it to be on earth. We're taught certain things about heaven. It's not just about angels floating on clouds playing harps. The soul is eternal. It's indestructible. And we get on with things after our life review, and we work and we learn and we train to be guides, and we develop certain aspects of our soul evolution. So it's a really, really good book. It started out with my mother, of course, with the introduction and her giving me information. I had a room that I sat, which is our sunroom, that I would relax in. And it's on a ley line of energy. I don't know if listeners or viewers understand that, but there are different portals of energy that run under the ground. And ironically, we picked this spot to build our home. It's a diagonal energy vortex. So it's very easy for spirits to communicate. And I had a chair, and across from me was an empty chair. So I would pray and meditate. I believe in that. I believe in protection. I'd look up and there'd be a soul sitting there. I never knew who it was going to be. A lot of clients came through, a lot of clients that were older that passed on. One was a marine biologist. He blew my mind. His name was Mel, when he said he actually now can enter the frequency of marine life, crustaceans, and actually get into their energy field. So that was interesting. It's just an amazing, amazing book. I have it right here, Living in the Afterlife. And so between family members and friends who had passed, bless them, between clients who had passed, also celebrities, a few celebrities came through. A couple of them were singers, which we've talked about. One comedian took his life. He's in the book. Very interesting. It's not just for the baby boomers that are thinking, oh, please, what's going to happen to me when I get to the next world? That the next world is our true home, which is heaven. Right. And it's a real eye opener. You read it, John. And
yes, I loved it.
We talk about, I say we because the souls and I kind of all got together. There is a denser frequency that is very close to the earth plane. So if you think of an onion and the layers of an onion, that's how this works. The sub frequency is called the gray area. And this is where you always mentioned Astral City, the movie. Yeah. And I'm still getting people writing to me. Thank you, John Williams, for Astral City. I just now watched it and rented it. Yeah. So it really grabbed me and correlated with the idea that God is love, and that we were all created through love. That even what we do, if you love your child, the child might do a deed that's not great, but you still love your child. It's the same thing with the creator. So yes, it's terrible to murder. Yes, it's terrible to kill. Yes, it's terrible. The heinous crimes are committed. But that's where the gray area comes in, because there's no condemnation. We make choices. We need to be rehabilitated, believe it or not. And it's a fascinating book. So it's a real eye opener, and it opened my eyes as well. And it's much, much more than that. So one of our webinars could even go more deeply into this book, John. I think that we'll do that one. we'll do a webinar possibly on
That'll
living
be
in the
great.
afterlife.
Yeah, no, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And one thing that you talk about, and we started doing that I think early in the show, when people call in and they connect with their loved one, you're able to find out what the loved one is doing on the other side, on what their mission is.
Yes.
Because can we go into a little bit about what they do on the other side when they get there? It's not that they just float on a cloud and play a harp.
No, they we work. Well, first of all, we make transition. We are met by our loved ones and pets. We are welcomed home, the true home. We go through a life review, and then we decide how do we want a soul progress. So, if, for example, 3 teenagers are in a car accident, 2 stay on earth, 1 goes to the light. That soul that is now in heaven may choose to help those that are about to come over in accidents to get to the light. When the soul is thrust out of the body very quickly, not always, but sometimes, there's a little bit of disorientation because we're popped into a higher frequency almost immediately out of the body. It's like a butterfly emerging from the cocoon. So some souls will volunteer to come down to earth to help those that pass in a similar way, whether it's a drug overdose, whether it's an accident. I had a precious lady that was at the seminar who watches every single week, and she felt really good because her son's a hero in heaven. And even though he tragically passed, he confirmed that on Sunday. He said that he is working with a group of souls that passed away in a very similar way to the way he did. And they've joined a group, and that group comes down. Remember, there's no time in heaven. That group comes down when someone's about to pass. Angels can also do this. There are volunteer souls. Angels take commands from the Creator. So really, angels do not have free choice and free will. They've never been human. But I do want to say that Living in the Afterlife is the latest. It's a great book. And also, just briefly, because this is kind of a review.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're not in retrograde. But the second, we're reevaluating the books. Messages from Beyond. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is my most popular spiritual guidebook. And honestly, it has been revised at least 4 times. And these are, over the many years of doing seminars, there are many chapters that are helpful for people. One is conscious manifestation that we briefly have talked about, that we attract what we think in this world. It's energy. It's the law of attraction. Other chapters deal with losing children, the guilt attached to that the soul chooses its parents to learn and grow with. And at any point of development, even in the womb, if the soul decides not to enter with the first breath, which is the breath of life, that's a miscarriage. So it really gets into detail about many, many, many subjects: how to clear your home of negative energy, how to white light and protect yourself during the course of a day. What is your soul color? We all vibrate with a color. Mine happens to be aqua, which is behind me right now. Took me a while to figure it out. And we all vibrate with a soul number and a symbol. So a soul symbol could be a triangle, could be a circle. It's really fascinating. And I was so moved at my seminar. A lady not only baked wonderful cupcakes for everybody, a really good baker, but she told me that this book helped her because it also has a chapter on walking our loved ones through the portal to get to the other side. Many loved ones are filled with fear. Of course, it's fear of the unknown, fear of letting go of the physical body. So through this exercise, she was able to take her, I think it was her father-in-law's hand, mind to mind, and to help walk him down the connecting portal, to have him go in peace, to have him go to the light, that he lived a good life, that it was all right to let go. And she let go of his hand and she floated back down the tunnel, and he passed the next morning. And so she was filled with so much gratitude over just the one chapter in the book. So this would make a great webinar too, John. There is so, you have this one, don't you? I'm trying to remember.
Yes. Yeah, no, it will be an excellent webinar. Yes. And when I say webinar, I kind of, that word is what most people know as a study, when they get to go in and study with a group of people. But we're going to make this fun. We're going to make this interactive. It's not going to be like where you don't see the people that are interacting. It's going to be really, really cool experience.
And we're actually going to bring them right on. For example, where I'm sitting, they would be off to the left.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you could see them talking, and we'll chat, we'll laugh. Yeah. It's not all about heavy study. How about it, John? Yeah. You and I get on a roll.
Yeah, we just have fun, and we just go with spirit, and as spirit leads. Exactly.
As spirit leads.
Yeah. So, no, that's great. I love the book that you were saying, Messages from Beyond. I have it up on the screen for people to see. Again, folks, all these books are available at michellelivingston.com on the books tab. So click on books and you'll see them all there. And then we discussed a little bit as well and shown artwork, which I have loaded here from Visions from Mary.
Yes, and that I had that book right here, John. Blessed Mother Mary appeared to me in 1993, even though I'm not Catholic. I was meditating, praying, and I really was very surprised. At the foot of my bed, I saw the most beautiful being. She was dressed in white, and she emanated this beautiful soft blue light, and she put her hand out, and she said to me, "Daughter, with you I'm well pleased. I want you to start painting 12 paintings of the healing energy of the world." And I thought, really, I did. Why me? I'm not even Catholic. Mm-hmm. And she sent back, "Well, neither am I." And it was, really, I'm not being disrespectful, but it's true. Right, yeah. So it took 5 years to do this particular one. This book was done in 1997. It took me from 93 to 97. The paintings were painted first, and they were huge. They're 30 by 40 inches. And they were done in pastel chalk. Mm-hmm. I literally channeled them. It just flew out. The colors flew out. And they were not painted in the particular order. Mm-hmm. So when they were all done and I had them lined up around the room, I was told what order to put them in. And I also noticed a symbol within each of the Blessed Mother Mary paintings. One symbol was a lily. One was a rose. One was a dove. It was amazing to me. And so the information came through. Those are meditation symbols.
Yeah.
And even though it seems like a religious book, it's, I would say, a book to keep on the nightstand. There are archangels that oversee the paintings. One is Archangel Michael, mm-hmm. and one is Gabriel, the messenger of truth, and one is Raphael, the divine healer. So there happens to be 12 paintings in the back. Yes, and each one represents something. That one is actually faith, the banner, and that's mystical rose. The rose is what you meditate upon. Now, remember, they're 30 by 40 inches, so they're really large.
Yeah.
There's the dove of peace. The colors are very healing. That one I love too. And down at the bottom, you see the sign of infinity, John. There's a shell. Yeah, a scallop shell, and then it's like a figure 8 turned on its side.
Exactly.
Sign of infinity. Now, they're not portraits of her per se. They're just images of female faces.
I'm zooming in a little bit to show the sign of infinity.
That's great.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. They're very healing colors. They're high chakra colors. Mm-hmm. Lots of blues and greens and purples. Mm-hmm. Soft.
Yeah. I love this one.
That's one of my favorites too. I love the way the water comes up and then forms almost a circle with the rainbow, or the sunbow we call it. Yeah. And each rose represents something too, the red, the white, and the pink. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. Some of these are at my office in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, where I do readings. Other ones are different places. There's the lily. That's the Annunciation, when Gabriel appeared to Mary, and with the lily of purity. That's what that means. I'm so glad you have these.
Yeah, so we have the Annunciation, the Assumption, the Baptism, the Descent, the Mystical Rose.
Yes.
And then the Resurrection.
Yeah, and those are just, I think we have 6, half of the paintings that are in Blessed Mother Mary book.
And that was actually a soul portrait. Let's talk about that really quick, since we're on your subject of your art. And you work with a web designer who takes these images that you get when you do a soul portrait and turns them into digital art, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a friend, I think, had a reading yesterday. She wants her soul portrait done. What it is because I'm an artist and I've been painting all of my life, my 3 angels called the light beings will start with a soul portrait. They'll take the person and extend out some form of an opening scene. Everything in the scene has a meaning to that person's personality. So every creature, the terrain, whether it's out west or the shore, the beach, whatever, everything has a meaning. So by the time my angels, called the light beings, are done with interpretation, it's the person's personality, it's their journey, it's their soul path, it's everything. And people love them. I keep doing them because it's very unique. I don't know anybody else that's doing them right now.
Yeah.
But also people use them to meditate with. Even if they don't get the digitized print, before they go to sleep at night, they tell me they'll lie there and just listen to their scene. It could be walking along a beach or climbing an emerald green hill with orchids around the base of the hill. I mean, they're just gorgeous. And then what that does is it calms the person down. It opens up their energy so they're easier for me to link in with and read. And it's a little bonus on the front end, before I start doing the mediumship readings, before the loved ones come in. So those are called soul portraits. Then we have our webmaster in Washington, Todd. He's great. Hi, Todd, if you're watching. I don't know if you are tonight, but he takes the scene, he listens to it, and he digitizes it. He's a fantastic visionary digital artist. So again, when you look at those scenes, everything in that scene has been well thought out by him. He doesn't miss anything. No. And so what we do is we roll it up in a tube and we send it to the individual that commissioned it. And then they can use that as a screensaver on their computer. They can frame it. And you see the colors are amazing. I love that one too. That was wild.
Yeah.
It almost looks like Atlantis with the crystal pyramids.
Yes, and all these are available on your website as well, so people can go look at the gallery on your website. So just go to michellelivingston1l.com and then click on Soul Portraits.
Right.
Under services, right?
Under services,
yes.
Yeah. So that you have to dig just a little bit deeper to find them, but there's a lot of renderings there.
Yeah.
Todd's been doing them with me for about 18 years. I've been doing the work 27. It might even be 20 years. I don't know, but he's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll put the link in the chat room for people to see, too.
Oh, thank you, John. So then we move on from Blessed Mother Mary to Miraculous Encounters. I just want to mention this one as well. This one, it encompasses over 100 true stories of people's experiences with loved ones who have passed. And there's also a chapter on angels taking human form. Wow. In times of need. And how many times have we heard this story where the truck is in the snowdrift and it goes into an embankment and all of a sudden there's another truck that comes by to haul your vehicle out. You turn to thank them. There's no footprints in the snow. There's no other vehicle. So angels are androgynous. They are sexless. And they're from a very high dimension. In my one book, I talk about 12 dimensions of light and energy. We are the 3rd dimensional world, which is our physical plane. And the 4th dimension is the heavenly realms. And then it goes really up from there. It's really in depth. But true stories. It's chicken soup for the soul in a way. And some of the topics in this one are... not just angelic encounters, but dream communication. That's one way that the spirits say hello. Also, seeing them at the foot of your bed. A lot of times people just see them from the waist up, floating, or out of the peripheral vision, there might be a light, or they see a form. Also in photographs, orbs can also mean spirits. So seeing them as clairvoyant, clairaudience is hearing them. if you're driving along and you hear slow down, your dad's saying slow down, and you go around the corner and there's a big accident, that would be clairaudience, the ability to hear the realms of the spirit world. And then we have clairsentience or sentience, which is feeling the realms of the spirit world. Some people, and we talk about this, John, you and I are empathic, and a lot of people are empathic, not a lot, but those that are will feel even before they hear anything, or even before they see.
And it seems like a lot of people are awakening to that. Certain ones that may have not have really realized it are awakening to it. It's almost like something switched on. Because it seems like a lot of people are empaths these days. Do you not feel that as well?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
And a typical empath, bright lights bother them, loud sounds, negative people. So they wake up feeling pretty good in the morning, go to work. If someone around them is negative, by mid-afternoon they're going down.
Absorbing it like a sponge, really. And we talked about how to shield in many shows about that. So how the white light in the morning and shield. Another way that they say hello is through the olfactory, or the sense of smell. There's a specific name for it, which I can never remember. I just have olfactory occurrences. You always bring that up for me, which is cute, but I forget what it's called. It's something sentience or so you're talking about what's the five? So one of the senses for smelling. I used to think it was clairgustance, but is that what it is?
Could be.
Clairgustance, I think, is what it is.
Okay, well, whatever.
But I will look it up to make sure, because I know I brought up the ones before. Yeah.
I just have olfactory.
Yeah.
My dad uses cherry pipe tobacco smoke, which I think I've shared before, and that's very aromatic. So one of the hardest things they do, most difficult ways they communicate, is through the sense of smell. They have to think of it in the other dimension. They have to condense it, and they have to kind of push it down towards you. So you have to hand it to them. It takes a lot of work for them because they love you so much to say hello. Also, animal and insect messengers are in this book, which I love. No, your grandmother is not the cardinal.
Right. Just influencing.
I'm on a morning drive time show for the last 10 years off and on. And one of the DJs, he's also a very well-known comedian, national comedian. He freaked out because his mother came through and said that she's the cardinal or something to that effect. He actually literally thought his mother was a cardinal. And so one was tapping at his window, one was following him around. And I had to say, Earl, no, your mother is not the cardinal. She is influencing the cardinal to fly your way because she sang hello from heaven.
Yeah.
So they are not the insect or the butterfly or
well,
the bird.
It's interesting because, a lot of people, when they study reincarnation, some believe that you incarnate as animals or as birds or different types of, living beings. And so, I could get why somebody might think that, but you're saying they're influenced by spirit to deliver the message. So the mother is influencing.
It really freaked him out.
Yeah. In fact, Shelley in the chat room is asking, so you don't incarnate as an animal?
We might, as far as I know, I've never had information or even asked about information.
Okay.
I really feel that there's a consciousness or energy of canine, for example, dog, or feline, or equine,
like an
horse.
oversoul, right? An oversoul.
Like a sea of consciousness. So I feel that once a dog passes, it will go back into the canine consciousness. Yeah. And it can come back as a wolf. Anything that would be, I think they stay in their same energy field.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Everybody has an opinion, but also in the book, they can move inanimate objects around and manifest, like pennies from heaven or feathers. It's really interesting.
It is.
So I just wanted to get into some of the ways they communicate. So this one's a goodie.
Miraculous encounters.
Especially if you don't know how your loved one's communicating. There are many ways they say hello from heaven.
Yeah.
And they're all true stories. So anyhow,
and I noticed that cover of that book, Michelle, is very reminiscent of Visions from Mary. And
yes, in fact, it is one of the paintings. Visions from Mary. I've tried to do the artwork on each book, and that just lended
There it
itself.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I
John.
just now
Yeah.
noticed that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because doves can be messengers, and
Yeah.
because it was such a soft, angelic face,
Yeah.
I wanted that on the cover of the book. The other one that is a sleeper, that probably you don't have a picture of, is called the True Nature of Love.
Okay.
And I'm an ordained minister, and I do believe in prayer. So it's a simple, and I did the painting on the front. It's a cloud painting, which I like to do. Hold on a second there. There it is.
Okay.
And
I can
there are
probably
21
find it.
little
Let's see.
chapters and 21 themes for prayers. And it runs the gamut of creation, love, wisdom, money, temptation, pets in the animal kingdom. There's a chapter for that, children and the inner child, spirituality, soul purpose, prayer, meditation. It goes on.
There
Many
it is.
people keep this. There you go. They keep that right on their nightstand too, and they grab it and they say a prayer each morning or each night. It was purely channeled, the prayers and everything. So that's kind of, we don't talk a lot about that one, but it's a lovely, lovely book.
Yeah, I have them all grouped together except that one. So we got Visions from Mary, Messages from Beyond, Miraculous Encounters, and Living in the Afterlife, her most current book. And then you're also working on the animal book.
I'm working on an animal book.
Yeah.
And before I get into that, though, one that we haven't discussed either is Echoes in the Wind.
I loaned that to a friend of mine, actually. He saw it on my dining room table, and he's like, I would like to read this. And I said, sure thing. So, yeah.
Well, basically, here I am in Sedona,
okay,
Arizona.
Yeah.
And I was on a vision quest. This is back in the 1990s. And I honestly heard a voice say, Red Cloud. Chief, I am Red Cloud, broken English. And I thought, well, now who in the world's Red Cloud? And there's a Red Cloud Indian school in the Dakotas, and I'd been sending money out there to the children. But this is a very strong chieftain of the Lakota Sioux, and he lived in the 1800s, Chief Red Cloud. So he wanted his story told, and that's the painting that I did. Wow. The sacred buffalo is shown, the Lakota Sioux medicine wheel with the 4 directions here.
I'll try to find that one too and put it up for everybody.
It's from their own words. And it's amazing how spiritual these people were. They revered nature, and it really is in depth. It can cause some tears, really.
Oh, I bet.
How their lives changed when some of us came in there and took over. Oh, basically.
Yeah. There it is.
So,
on the screen.
Crazy Horse is mentioned here. I channeled him in the book. Black Elk, which was actually a seer, and Crazy Horse, Black Elk, Chief Red Cloud, several of the other ones too. Sitting Bull was Lakota Sioux, and he's in here as well. And I think it's something that we didn't touch upon, but still people love Native American Indian culture. Many of them.
Yeah.
And
I'm Native American. I'm a big percentage, actually, too, from my grandmother. So, yeah.
Do you know what tribe, John?
I believe Sioux. Yeah. Souax.
I could see that with your cheekbones in some of the pictures I've seen of you.
Yeah.
You have the high cheekbones.
Yeah, right? And so I need to find out, actually, because, those DNA tests and all of that, but I don't think it actually picks up the Native American.
I don't know if it does or not, because that wasn't chronicled, I don't think.
Yeah.
As far as the genealogy goes, they're kind of a lost civilization, but I'm sure you have some.
Yeah, that's
DNA in you.
That's what my mother told me about my grandmother and my great grandmother. So
fantastic. And I think maybe that's why you're so spiritual and you love
singing
animals and nature
chanting and all that. Yeah, you got it. So I want to give out the phone number real quick, just because we have some people just now joining us. 323-649. You see it below. It's not above Michelle this time. It's below. 323-649-8268. 323-649-8268. The lines are open. And we also have the chat room. If you'd like to ask some questions, please go to UBN Radio, click on Channel 2, and ask your questions there. Because I do not see the Facebook comments until after the show. But Michelle does see them after the show and go back and respond to them. So go ahead and comment there as well. Okay.
Each and every one of them.
Yes, you do. You do. That's quite an accomplishment, because it's a lot of people. And what I want to say real quick is I went back and I looked at the Claires, and I was talking to Andrea too in the chat room. And so Claire Salience or Aliens, Claire Aliens. I don't even know how to pronounce it actually. If you look it up, that is the smelling, and the Claire Gustance is the taste.
All right.
But you know how if you can't smell, then you can't really taste, so they kind of work together, as you said, the olfactory.
And I did not address the issue of taste in this Miraculous Encounters book, but remember our guest, I think her name was Janie.
Janie, yeah.
And she actually played Mrs. Santa on Beverly Hills in Rodeo Drive, and she wanted to come on as a guest, and she was fantastic, and we talked about the how we taste recipes from spirit, and how our grandmother can let us taste noodle soup or whatever, and it's something that I really haven't explored. So she was a really good guest, and we had a call from the North Pole. Remember, it was Christmas time.
We did.
John.
And Brenda's been with us ever since, so
we love you,
great.
Brenda.
Yes.
Mwah.
And I want to say that we were talking about Janie, but it's actually clairvoyantgourmet.com for those who want to check it out. clairvoyantgourmet.com.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can go back and watch all of the shows. They're archived on Michelle's Facebook page as well, and on YouTube as well. And so go back and check out the archives, and you can see for yourself what we're talking about. Yeah, so we're spending some time tonight going over the past couple seasons that we've been doing this show, and it's been great, and I loved how it's grown. The audience has grown, the technology has grown, everything it's just evolved. It's excellent.
It's fast forward. It really
I mean, now we got you sitting in the Caribbean. I mean, broadcasting from the Caribbean. Yeah.
Well, what I want to do is I need to take a hiatus, and Southern France is calling me. I think I said that in another show, John.
Yeah.
And I always loved Van Gogh, the artist. So I wanted to study some Van Gogh down there. I'm going to be in Provence for a while with the lavender fields, and then I'm also going to explore the French Riviera a little bit.
Very cool.
And Monte Carlo, and just relax. And I've worked hard this last 8 months, so it's time for somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just joking, but it's going to be a work study too. It will be included with art, and I will be working maybe on my book a little bit. And you had mentioned briefly about my newest book, which My Heart is Open to Animals. I love animals, and the stories from the viewers and listeners have been wonderful, really heartwarming. If you've had a dream of a pet who's passed, something inspirational, very similar to Miraculous Encounters, that book I just told you about, please private message me on Facebook or email me. My email is Michele with one L at michellelivingston.com. Both Michelles have one L.
Yes.
I need to expand this book a little more. There'll be a section on animals as messengers, animals as teachers, animals as companions and friends, and pets, of course, but doesn't necessarily have to gear all to pets.
All right.
So
looking forward to that one. So I want to go ahead and get to the phone lines. They're filling up here, Michele. Do you have some time to take some calls? All right. And also, folks, if you're in the chat room and you attended the seminar with Michele, please call in and let us know what you thought of everything. We'd like to connect with you on the air. So call 323-649-8268. 323-649-8268. We're getting to our first caller, calling from area code 717. I believe her name is Lisa. Lisa, you're on the line with Michele. Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Hello, Lisa.
Excellent. I hear your dog back there. We were just talking about animals.
Yeah, I'm just talking about animals.
Yeah, she sees somebody on the road.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, Lisa, she sees a spirit probably.
Well, she can't hear them anymore, so she might just see them.
Do you have a question for me, Lisa?
Yes. My very best girlfriend from high school passed away suddenly in September of 2016, and I've been really thinking about her a lot, and she passed very unexpectedly, very tragically, so I was just wondering if she's trying to tell me anything.
Okay. Was this an accident, Lisa? How did she pass, honey?
She committed suicide.
Okay. I thought it was one or the other. When you said tragically. All right. Let me just say. Let me say something from me to you. There's no condemnation with suicide. So I'm glad you mentioned how she passed. Suicide is a choice. It's a choice. And the downside of suicide is we cut our timeline short, Lisa. I don't know if you've been listening to the show for a while, but we're on a timeline. Yeah. And I'll try to get her through. She hasn't been over very long. And sometimes when we take our lives, we are in a form of rehab for a while. We can never get away from ourselves. And there's different motivations behind the act of suicide. I see a young girl. She wants to appear young, wearing jeans, and she has gold earrings. What do you know if she had pierced ears, Lisa? Your friend.
Yeah, she did.
I'm just getting Lise. She calls you Lise. I'm also going to say that there's an Ann in family, or there's a middle name of Ann somewhere. So it's either your middle name.
Yes, we both share that middle name.
Okay, because she's a soul sister. And I do have to be honest, I don't see her fully through. I just see jeans. I see a smile, a great smile. I hear her laughing. Did someone smoke, sweetheart? Did she ever smoke, or did somebody else smoke? I might be getting a new energy through.
Well, we both smoked when we were very young, yes.
Okay, all right. So it's still her, because she's letting me smell smoke come through. Lise, she says, hi, we have something in common. We have middle names of Ann. Thanks for the prayers you sent up for me. She said, I'm sorry for the one who found me. She does say that. She says she wants you to know what it was like to leave her body. She was quite shocked. She was never taught that the soul goes on the way it does, because we actually still can see and feel and hear and everything. But she was met by a grandfather figure. I find that interesting. She tells me that. And they took her to a wide open space. Your girlfriend didn't like confinement in any way. She wouldn't do well in a cubicle in a 9-to-5 job. Let me just put it that way. She was a free spirit. Do you understand what's being said? She was a free spirit. And she liked to do things. She liked to do things her way. That's the energy that she's giving me. And she says that she has some remorse about the act, but it was a choice. She had herself depressed. She got herself down, and she was in some pain. Now, that pain can mean emotional or physical, darling. But your girlfriend was in some pain. And I'm going to say probably more emotional, psychological maybe than physical, although I feel very tired with her before she passed. Very tired with her. She didn't want to drag on. She wanted to end it fairly quickly. And I don't think there was questioning about an accident versus suicide, but I think she meant it to be a suicide, if you know what I'm saying, because she didn't want to recover. She didn't want to drag on. You had some good times. You had a lot of laughs, and she's letting me hear bands. I'm hearing different types of band music, like crazy stuff, like you do years ago. If you go out with her and dance, because she says, I'm going to kick my heels up, Lisa, in heaven. I haven't gotten there yet. Now, when she says that, she has been through her life review where she's seen her first breath to her last, but she hasn't totally been through a rehab situation as yet. The rehab has to do with how she felt about herself while she was on Earth. It has to do with her self-esteem. There was some type of abuse, and I'm not quite sure. It could be mild verbal when she was growing up, and that kind of thing, or mental. And she has to forgive some of her perpetrators. Are you following me, Lisa? Because this can get heavy.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for following me, because we're on delay. So if I say something, just wait a minute till I'm done. She's learning how to forgive, and it was difficult. She had some anger within her, she tells me, before she passed as well. But, she says, you were the one I trusted, Lisa. She says, you were the one I told a lot to. So you were a very good listener for your girlfriend, Lisa. There's a lot of love here. and also balloons are shown. So I don't feel they let balloons go for her, but this could be a birthday that was or is coming up in your family or in her family. Where are we? May. Anybody have a birthday last month or this month? Or is anything happening in June? Can you tell me, Lisa?
Not with her, but my wedding anniversary is coming up, or has just come up, I'm sorry. But her birthday is actually in August, at the end of August.
No, that's okay. It can be a celebration like an anniversary. It can be a birthday. Happy anniversary, she says. You understand? And
Yes.
she extends love there. She had some problems with men. And I think this is the reason the balloons are shown to, as a celebration feeling for your anniversary, to let you know from her that she's happy for you, Lisa. That you've been able to work
it. Thank you.
That you've been able to try to work as a team with your husband. So that's about what I can get. I know there's other callers. I hope that was of some help to you, Lisa.
It is. I appreciate that. We just were concerned that maybe it was not quite a suicide, but somebody had a hand in forcing her to do that, and that we're just trying to look for some answers.
I know. I'm not a psychic detective, and this is why I said right away, was it an accident? And then you said she took her life. There's been conjecture about it. So I feel it was, and I'm just getting what I'm feeling, a little more on the suicide side than it is the, somebody did her inside, if you know what I'm saying. And she wants family to kind of release that thought. There has been a lot of anguish over that thought.
There has been a lot of anguish over that thought, yes.
That's right. And she's in a far better place, and she's happy. And again, a year from now, I could probably get her more strongly through. But it hasn't been long, and because of the act of it, she's still has to go through some rehab. So I want to say bless you, Lisa. Thank you so much for calling. I hope we can meet sometime.
Oh, I do. We have met once, but hopefully we'll meet again.
Okay. God bless, honey. Take care.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
I hope that helped you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that also addresses that issue for other people, John.
It does. Yeah.
There's it's so final, that act. Not a lot of time for goodbyes.
We did a show about this just recently, and Shirley Kelly's been covering it as well. Melinda Vale. I mean, there's been. This keeps coming up repeatedly on a bunch of the shows that I work on. The suicide topic, the suicide survivors, and the suicide topic. It is a topic that is really very, very intense and one that needs a lot of careful attention because it brings a lot of healing to those who are still here and processing.
And actually, in my book, Living in the Afterlife, too,
there
are different motivations behind the intention of the act. So, for example, if a mother jumps in front of a car to save her child, that is something that she decided to do. If a soldier takes a bullet for his friend, at the World Trade Center in New York, that tremendous travesty, people were jumping out of windows. Well, where do you really draw the line with it? It's when the act is done with revenge and negativity and that kind of thing. It's a different intention than someone that's in pain or physically or emotionally or whatever. So
it brings a lot of attention to the issue of mental illness in many ways, because a lot of times it is mental illness that's just undiagnosed or not treated, and it's trauma that people are dealing with on a repetitive cycle, and it leads to where they want to end the pain, so they think that's the only way is to kill themselves. And it's just really.
And remember, we talked about Robin Williams. I don't say names a lot, but he's in the book under the chapter of suicide. And he was diagnosed. Well, actually, after he passed, they found out that he was in deep dementia as well as ALS and paranoia. So he shot straight up, and he said to me, his grandmother said, "What the heck are you doing here?" But he did it because there was a lot of fear within him. And he was a great person, though. He was a bright light in this world. And as I said before, it's interesting. when we see people, whether they're on television or stage or in the movies or just in general, we see only 10%. Think of the glacier and what's under the water.
Right.
So we just see the tip of the iceberg with people.
Yeah.
There's so
beneath the surface.
there's so many layers and strata
Yes.
of personality underneath there, especially with stars and people on, in the movies and so on. But anyhow,
that's so
that was
true.
an interesting call.
Yes.
Interesting call.
Yes. Well, let's lighten up things a bit and let's move to our next caller. It looks like we have, let's see, area code. We're staying in Pennsylvania. We're going to area code 717-874. You're on the line with Michelle. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm in Pennsylvania. I attended Michelle's Sunday event. It was beautiful.
Oh, great.
Michelle mentioned me with the book Messages from Beyond that she helped me.
That's great.
Her doing, and I actually was a winner of the book, which came right in time for my brother-in-law to be helped. I guess the spirits knew I needed some help to help him cross over. So thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, my dearest. What did you do to help your brother-in-law? You said the prayer.
I followed the direction in your Messages from Beyond. The book is wonderful. It's awesome. So I went to the chapters, how to help loved one pass. He was sick for a very long time, and last 6 months, the medical staff and us were amazed that he was still with us as his organs were failing continuously. He was comatose for the last 2 months, non-responsive at all. So he needed the help.
A push. Yes. And you were the one, and that's a gift that you give a loved one. We're not forcing them to pass on. We're gently telling them it's okay to let go. You're going to the light. You're going in peace. You're going in love. And so that was a great gift that
when
you
he
gave.
was still aware, he was telling us that he's so afraid to pass. He was extremely afraid, not knowing what's on the other side, and he was afraid to go. I did spoke with him in that reference a few times before, and I told him there is nothing to be afraid. There is no judgment. There is no hate. There is only love and peace. And it was hard for him to believe because he didn't believe any of this. He doesn't believe in life after life, and so the gift you gave me help him finally cross.
Well, I thank you so much. And thank you. And you were the one that made those fantastic cupcakes that I got in trouble over.
Yes, I'm the one. I'm the one with the cupcakes.
This dear lady, John, brought in containers of these most amazing cupcakes I've ever tasted. They were, I won't even get into it. Cream cheese topping. And my helpers took some. I gave them out to my helpers. And honestly, I just oohed and awed. You should have heard me.
Wow.
But they were great. But thank you for attending, my dear.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
For calling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you. You're taking a break, and I'm going to miss our Wednesday dates. This is like a date.
But I'll be back, and you can always...
I hope you come back soon.
Message me. Message me on Facebook, okay?
I will. Okay, my dear. Thank you. And the event was wonderful. I'm so happy I met so many great people that attended, especially the man, Larry. I don't know if you remember. He got a reading from his mom. His mom came through. It was awesome. There was a very nice lady named Mary sitting with us at the table. I hope I was able to comfort her. She didn't get a reading. I didn't get a reading, but still was awesome. Amazing event.
Yes, and
I really thank you for having it.
Thank you, dear. Everyone you come to is different because everybody brings different energy.
Oh, wow.
Anyhow, thank you, dear.
But it was a really great event. It was really a lot of people and a lot of great people.
Yes.
So it was really great. Thank you.
God bless, honey. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you for
Have
calling. Glad you had a great
Bye-bye.
time. And she won that book. That's great. Yeah.
She won the book, I don't know, several shows ago.
And
she really delved into it, and she was so excited about it. And she did write to me and said that was the catalyst to help her get her brother-in-law to the light.
Wow.
So, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he passed quickly after she helped him, too. So,
Wow. All right. You ready for a couple more? We have maybe time for maybe 3 more, if that's okay.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. So we have area code 210 on the line, 210379. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Where are you calling from? Blanco, Texas.
Can't hear you very well. If you're on a speakerphone, could you go to a regular phone and then just repeat what you just said, please?
Sure. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Blanco, Texas.
Blanco, Texas. Okay, and your name, please?
Yes. Kristen.
Kristen. All right. Thank you, Kristen. You're online with Michele.
Hello, Kristen.
Hello.
Hello, darling. What's your question for me?
I was just kind of interested in knowing how my friend Lance might be doing.
Your friend Lance might be doing. How long's he been passed away, Kristen?
It's been about, maybe 6, 7 years.
6 to 7 years. I must say something first of all. I do not lasso them and pull them through. I wish I could for people. I do. I hear music though. As soon as you mentioned his name, I heard a lot of music. So that tells me he liked music.
Okay.
He liked to listen to music, or maybe he even played music. Was a very attractive younger male, very attractive. And
he was,
yes. I'm sorry, there's a delay, so we might be overlapping our conversation. But he puts a thumb up like this. I don't know if you're watching or not. But he says, we had good times. He says, didn't we, Chris? Didn't we, Kristen? And he says, I've made it. I'm okay. He is happy, though. Happy to be in the light. And you're going to hear certain music that was his type of music. And you'll be amazed because he's trying to get a message through to you. And I want to say he's been trying to get through in a dream, Kristen. So have you dreamt of Lance as yet?
No, not as of yet.
Well, please keep open to dreams because he's trying to do that. And when you dream of him, your soul is up with him. Now, I have a grandfather figure for you also, Kristen. A grandfather figure who is a character, and he wants you to get well. What's happened with your voice, you're going through some emotional stresses. I assume you know that. You're a very sensitive person, Kristen, and you need to protect and white light yourself, my dear. You need to do that. The voice deals with communication. And there are so many things that you want to express in your life and tell people. Your grandfather, even though you may never have known him, he is a spirit guide of yours. And there's a J name in family somewhere. Somewhere there's a John or a Joe in family. Somewhere. I don't know where, but he's acknowledged.
Yeah.
Pardon?
My brother's name is Jason.
Jace, okay. And he acknowledges Jason as well. You're two very different personalities, you and your brother, but he wanted to acknowledge Jace or Jason too. Are you working, Kristen?
Yes.
There are things in the workplace that you need to voice your opinion on. I know that's difficult depending on what kind of job you have, but a lot of this throat chakra thing that's happening has to do with speaking truth, getting things off your chest, expressing yourself. All right. Do you understand what's being said, Kristen?
Yes.
Thank you. Because it's important that you start to verbalize and express more, darling. You're a beautiful person. You're a beautiful person. And the grandfather salutes. We have Memorial Day coming up. And so someone was someone was in the military as well in your family. Do you know who that was?
Yeah.
He was?
And my brother Jason.
Yes.
My brother Jason is too.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he was proud to serve and thrilled that Jason is in the military serving our country. God bless him. So your grandfather pulls his energy down on service holidays like Veterans Day, like 4th of July, like Memorial Day, and like Labor Day. I'm not kidding you. That's when you'll feel your grandfather the most. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
He was a straight, your grandfather was a straight shooter. In other words, what you see is what you get with him. I mean, he comes right at me. Tell my granddaughter and grandson I love them. I'm watching out for them. And tell Kristen to heal, to start to heal her emotions and de-stress a little bit. And I think once you do that, you'll get your voice back. And I wish you all the best in Texas, my dearest. Thank you for
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kristen. Keep in touch with us.
Thank-
All right. Wow.
I don't think Kristen's called before. I think
No,
she's
I don't
a
think so
first-time
either.
caller.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, of Texas. And I loved what you shared about the throat chakra. It's very interesting because when the throat chakra is not, when people aren't expressing and the voices is being affected, it's very interesting that the correlation. Don't you see that? I mean, a lot of people think that, I'm coming down with a cold or something like that, or allergies or what have you, but we need to look at what the real underlying issue is. And that is
John,
speaking up, right?
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Dis-ease
Yeah.
starts out here, way
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
in the energy field and even beyond. And
Right.
it starts to slowly move towards the body.
Right.
And so if it lodges in the lung region, it's taking the breath of life. If we fall and break an ankle or a leg, it's time to move on or move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Different chakras are affected by what we're dealing with in life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dis-ease, and that's so you kind of have to be objective. I have allergies, so maybe mine has something to do with speaking my truth too. Because the one show I could hardly even talk, and I got over it real fast. But
Yeah, I remember. But then we talked earlier in the show about this year is all about making big changes in the routine, about making changes in our lives that are going to set us up for the next chapter. And a lot of that has to do with speaking up. And so many of us who are people pleasers have a hard time speaking up because we're really concerned, especially being an empath as well, of what the reaction is going to be.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to make waves, this whole thing.
Yeah.
You need to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Because the disease will stay there if you don't remedy it, if you don't get to the bottom of it. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm working on for sure. And so I want to get to this question that we had in the chat room earlier from Andrea. I think she's relaying it from Facebook. And originally you were talking about ley lines.
Of energy.
Yeah, ley lines of energy. And so the question is about how or where are they on Earth? And how can you, detect them,
It's very difficult to detect them.
Okay.
There are portals throughout the world. There's a huge portal and a vortex in Hawaii, as we know.
Uh-huh.
There's one in Sedona, as we know. Some are very subtle. Ley lines of energy go down. Some of them go very, very deep.
Uh-huh.
And what they do, for some unknown reason, it's electromagnetic impulses in the ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
And since the soul is electromagnetic energy, then the soul can use that portal or that ley line to come through in an easier way.
Okay.
Just like souls can work electrical things, lights flicker and the volume gets louder on television sets and so on. I never realized that there were 3 different healers over these many years. We built our home about 20 some years ago that sat in the sunroom and said, you're on a ley line of energy. And I said, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, it's a diagonal ley line and you're on a portal. And I have to tell you, John, it's so funny. I'll have dinner reservations and people come here and they sit in the sunroom before we go out and nobody wants to leave.
Oh.
They say, let's not even go. I feel so peaceful. This is so wonderful here. And they don't go. So once they get into that ley line on that diagonal, I can't get them out of here.
Now, does that overlook that beautiful park that you had showing us the pictures of? That's gorgeous. We saw some pictures of that on your Facebook. And
Yeah, video.
wow,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
John does the landscaping.
Beautiful.
And we're kind of on a pie-shaped land, so it's shallow in the front, but there's like a semicircle acre in the back.
Okay.
And it's a park. It's
Yeah.
the peaceable kingdom.
Beautiful.
We had years ago. We were the first ones to choose a plot of land. We were lucky enough. And my husband said, "Well, we're in a cul-de-sac," and he kept saying, "Well, which that has a better view, and that one." And I said, "No, John, that's a park." I said, "That has good energy."
Yeah.
And I could kind of visualize all the animals. We have fox, we have squirrel, we have
cats.
everything. I have 2 outdoor cats. But and over the years, there's been many other types of animals. We have a creek that runs the whole perimeter around the development too. So big turtles come up here, cranes have come up here, egrets. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So, but no, that's I don't have to be honest. I don't know that much about portals or ley lines, but I know that we're definitely on one.
Well, and if you look up power places, there are places all over the world that are power places. Stonehenge, various different places are power places, and that's probably because they're on the ley lines. If you think of the crystal grid and all of that that's going on underneath.
There you go, the crystal grid.
Yeah.
And this was a farm. This was a huge farm before it became a development.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's Native American Indian energy here as well.
Oh yeah.
Certain places.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about all these changes that people are making in their lives, and the chat room is lighting up here saying about numerology, and Susie Q is saying, what is one universal year? What does that mean? So Robin was saying that 1 is a universal year. Susie's asking what that means. So go ahead and share a little bit with us. It mainly means new beginnings, right? And are you a little familiar with?
Yeah, and I'm not a numerologist, but we've talked about the 1111 concept. Right.
And actually, Brenda's talking about that in the chat room. She's been seeing a lot of 1111, 222, 444, signs on license plates, all those signs. Yeah.
So triple numbers are angelic numbers. Common ones are 444, 333, and so on. 1111 is a code. It's a wake-up code. And it means as above, so below. If you think of pillars of a temple, so we have the 11:11, and when I say as above, so below, it's a mirrored image. So it represents balance. It represents awakening of the spiritual realms to somebody. And literally, there's a whole chapter in my Messages from Beyond book on 11:11. So 1 is a power number. I was born on the 1st. I mean, it's just crazy. The stuff that comes up. Actually, June 1st. So I'm a crazy Gemini, but I feel that we even choose dates to come into the world and dates to leave the world. So about the universal 1, not quite sure what that is. I know that.
Well, it's new beginnings. Stepping out of your comfort zone, intuition and insight. So
And so when you see 1s, I think you'll see a series of 1s though. Typically people see 3 1s or something will ring up $1.11 at the store. It gets really almost out of control.
Well, no, it does, and they're talking about that in the chat room. So we're trying to relay a little bit as we go along here, just to keep people.
So
informed.
Watch for numbers. Numbers can also translate to a month and a day, and it could even be a loved one saying hello. So if a license plate is 311, it could be March 11th that your father passed and he's saying hello. So it's really really interesting. It's fascinating, these signs.
It is, and I'll have to share a little bit real quick because I was going to share it in the previous show and we ran out of time. But one day I was saying I need to connect with nature more. And I was sitting at my computer and I was meditating a little bit, which is funny to sit at the computer and meditate. But I'm like, I need to get away from the computer, go out, meditate, and just enjoy the weather because it was beautiful. So I went over, stood by the balcony, just looked up to the sky and was just communing with nature for a bit. And so the key words were I want to communicate more with nature. I want to experience more in nature because I just spend too much time working online and doing things like that. So I went to do some laundry because I had to get it done. And I'm walking back from the laundry room and I hear this bird chirp, 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 chirp. And I look back and this bird is chirp, 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 boom, to the ground and hit the ground. Wow. And I was like, what? Is it alive? What's going on? I mean, is it, I didn't know if it, I mean, it was like in distress. You could hear this chirp, 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 and then hit the ground. And it did it in front of apartment 108 as I was walking back to my apartment. So I go and stand in front of it and I send it energy, and I'm like, if you're meant to stay, you're meant to stay. If you're meant to go, then, you know, pass you through and send you on your way. And I just sent healing energy to it. And all of a sudden, then within a couple minutes of me doing that, I saw a leg start twitching. And I was like, what do I do? Do I pick this bird up? Do I let it stay there? And then I could see it twitch a little bit more. And then the body started moving a little bit more. So I picked it up and put it in my hands. And then I pulled it close to my chest because I didn't want it, you know, I cupped it in my hands. And I didn't want it to, you know, fall out. And it started to chirp a little bit more. And then it started to stand up. And so I'm thinking maybe it was just stunned. It was knocked out, because I've seen birds do that before. So I don't know if it was, you know, I'm not saying it's brought back to life, but who knows? But the key thing is that I said I wanted to communicate with nature more, right? So as I'm holding it, it starts taking off again and it flies into the wall. And so I'm like, I have got to get it away from this place and move it closer to the balcony and so they can fly over and so I hold it and it doesn't want to leave after I pick it up the second time. And it starts singing in my hands, and I'm just like, wow, talk about a sign from the universe, a winged messenger. Then in front of apartment 108, because Spirit told me to go back and look at what number it was, because I wasn't really paying attention to the number at the time. Well, 1, like we said, is new beginnings, stepping out of your comfort zone. 0 is the vibration of the God force, which is it has to do with spiritual aspects, you know, the beginning of a new spiritual journey. And then 8 is manifesting positive abundance. So in my life, you know, I've been looking for a lot of answers lately. And so 108 is suggesting, can I look this up on Sacred Scribes, which is a great site, that 108 is a message of support, encouragement from your angels, asking you to think positive thoughts to do with your wealth, prosperity, and abundance. It's a message to keep your focus on attaining positive results and fulfillment rather than worrying about lack or loss when you have high expectations.
Fantastic.
So they want you to know that things are manifesting around you at a rapid rate, to make the most of them. So I was just like, wow.
And you know, number 8 on its side is a sign of infinity too.
Yeah.
So it's an infinite manifestation. Birds are symbols of the soul, and I think it really was a messenger for you.
And guess what kind of bird it was?
I don't know.
Well, in California, I wasn't sure either, so I had to go look it up based on the markings, right? And it was a sparrow. His eyes on the sparrow. So that was such a beautiful message from Spirit for me.
That is a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And you see, you were awakened enough to go back and look at the number. To translate the number. See, there are no accidents.
No.
And once we're awakened, it's not that we're looking for every little thing, but everything opens up more.
Right.
And the more you're open, the more things like that happen. It just is, it's a fantastic world. It's a world of wonderment. And so what happened to the bird? It eventually
so it just stayed in my arm or in my hands for a bit, and then it flew off. And so I think it just needed to regain its strength, regain its senses and its direction, and fly off. But that was very telling, how it flew into a brick wall, and then then second time it's like I'm like, is that a sign that I'm hitting a brick wall? It's like, I started looking at it, and we can do that. We can overanalyze or what have you, but I just went into my intuition, and I just took it for the beautiful message that it was. And ladies in the chat room are saying 108 is 9, so you add the 8 plus the 1, and that's 9. So, which is an ending of a bad cycle and the beginning of a more prosperous one. So
that is excellent, because 1's new beginnings, 9 ends it, because in numerology there is no 10. 10 goes back to 1.
Yeah.
So it's the ending of a cycle for you, darling.
Yeah.
Yay!
That was
good. Things are coming up.
Good things are coming.
John.
Good things are coming. I wanted to share that on the show we did last week with Christoph about signs and synchronicities, but we didn't really have much time, so wanted to get that in. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing it. That's a fantastic story.
Oh, sure
I
thing.
love that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to our last 2 callers, and we're going to wrap up for the evening. All right. Okay. So we got area code 410 on the line. 410. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Hi, it's Janine, and I'm calling from Maryland. Hi, guys.
Hey, Janine.
Hi there, Janine. Happy spring.
I have to say, I'm going to miss you on Wednesday nights, you and John, but I'm so excited to hear about your incredible journey that you're going to go on.
Well, thank you. I need to have a hiatus because all work and no play makes a dull person, Janine.
I understand. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you, my dear. And you can always message me on Facebook and listen. The webinars are going to be interesting too.
Yeah, they're going to be fun.
So
Yes.
I don't know if you're on my email list, but for newsletters,
I am.
But we'll keep you posted. We're thinking of August, Janine, and
okay, great.
That would be fantastic. So how's your spring been, Janine?
Well, it's really, John, your story was amazing because that was the question I left. I really feel I'm at a crossroads, and I've been working very hard to move forward because my life has had some things in it that kind of held me back. Mm-hmm. And so I'm at a crossroads. So I'm hoping that I could get some kind of direction a little bit. Maybe you help me with finding the clues and have the confidence to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, Janine, watch for numbers. Watch for messengers in nature, too. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have my books, but I feel you're a very caring, loyal, loving person. And I don't think we've ever met. I don't know. But there are, within the next 3 to 6 months, sweetheart, things will open up so much more for you, Janine. I feel that you have a son. I think that he's going to be okay. I feel a daughter. She's going to be better. I feel that sometimes you feel you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. I feel a little bit alone with you, but creativity, listen to this, is your saving grace. Keep working with your hands, keep doing creative work. You're here to serve, but your main purpose is to bring light and love through creativity, darling. So keep it up, would you? Would you keep it up?
Okay.
Whatever you can do. And you know what? I'm going to miss you too, because I know I get so many messages from people that watch every week. But you've called in a couple times, and I thank you for that. And just and, oh my goodness!
On a job, I do. That's what I'm struggling with right now, Michelle.
Janine, can I say something? I need to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Blessed Mother, the energy of Blessed Mother Mary's here. I don't know if you're an advocate of hers or not, but I don't have her fully through, but I have her energy of Mother Mary. And she says, Janine, she says, hold on. With you, I'm well pleased. She says, do not give up, daughter. She calls you daughter. And do you know that she's around you more than you realize? The energy of Mother Mary. And you don't have to be Catholic to she's the feminine divine Janine. I see her in white, and I see her surrounded with beautiful rose pink light. It is absolutely beautiful. If you feel alone at times, if you feel distressed, I want you to think of Blessed Mother. She loves you as her child, Janine. I know it sounds odd to say it that way, but I had to tell you that because she's right beside you, darling.
Okay.
She's right beside you. So I hope that
That's
brings
amazing.
you some.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope it brings you some comfort. All right.
Thank you.
God bless you, darling.
And God bless you guys too. Thank you so much.
Keep
in
Janine.
touch. Keep
in
touch.
Touch and let us know, hon. Thank you.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't get the energy of Mother Mary a lot, but I do have to say, boy, I'll tell you, she was it's a nurturing, loving, unconditional feeling when she comes through. Wow. And she was right around Janine. Mm. So interesting.
Yeah. Well, check out Visions from Mary to learn more about. And all those books are available on Michelle's site, michellelivingston.com, under the books tab. All right. One last caller, and then we're going to wrap it up for the evening. All right. We have area code 651. 651-337 is on the line. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
This is Troy. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hey, Troy.
Hi, Troy. How are you, Troy?
Good, Michelle. I've listened to you a lot, and this is the first time I've actually called. So. Well,
listen, I'm so glad you called today or tonight because this is my last show for the season, Troy.
Yes, and I have your book, Messages from Beyond, and it's a wonderful book, and I just think you're just wonderful.
Thank you. Well, what do you have a question for me now that I have you on the line, Troy? Is there a question?
Yes, I do. You know, I've struggled with. I'm an HIV positive gay male, and I've struggled finding a relationship or opening up to people. And yeah, I've really had a hard time, and I've been told I'm an empath, and that I feel a lot of other people's emotions. And I'm just wondering what you can tell me about just my life and what I need to do.
All right. Well, I want to say, I don't want this to sound like a cliche, but you're a very old soul. Troy, you've been around many, many times in the earth plane, and you've had past lives with music. You've had past lives with creative pursuits. I don't get into those a lot on air, but you have. And there's an empathic sensitivity about you. You don't want to hurt anybody. And sometimes that's literally held you back, if you understand.
Yes.
John and I were just saying about making waves and not wanting to hurt people. But there's an old saying, be true to yourself. Mm-hmm. To thine own self be true. And it's very important to stop and reflect and review and say, okay, what do I love to do? Because we should love our work about 90% of the time. I don't know if you've done anything creative. You should write down, keep a journal. There's a lot of creativity coming out of you, Troy. I don't know if you've ever done writing, if you like music, if you like the arts. There's been a loneliness too. I feel a deep loneliness, and I feel a deep reflection with you. So you've been doing lots of soul searching the last few months, probably the last year to 18 months. The soul searching has to do with why am I on earth? And that's what you're asking. It's easier said than done, but we all have signs that come up repeatedly in our lives. And I'm going to say you have some good friends that really do love you. And you've had some trying times, but again, keep that chin up, Troy. And I have to ask John, because I feel, John, you're picking up on something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So thank you, Michele. Troy, so in many ways, I know this has been a really, really, really rough time for you, but in some ways, too, it's been a blessing. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I think I've, since being diagnosed, mm-hmm. I think I've kind of gone on a stronger spiritual path since I've had to deal with being HIV positive and being an introvert and somewhat of an empath, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been very turned inward, but yet I still love people, and I still, I'm still outgoing to a sense, but I really need a lot of alone time too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, time to recharge. Yeah.
And reflect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Reflect and soul search.
Yeah.
You do have longevity. I need to say that in the record of life, as they show me, one of your spirit guides, Troy, mm-hmm. shows me the record of life as they're unscrolling it. You have soul contracted long life. So I know this came up against you, but it's not taking you out of here. So.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
It's not. Mm-hmm.
And, so Troy, may I ask, are you undetectable, or are you working on becoming undetectable? We can educate the audience a little bit about that.
Yes, I am undetectable, mm-hmm. and I've been on medication, and I'm fully healthy. I mean, I really haven't had any, bad symptoms
right.
or any illnesses to speak of. So I'm pretty healthy.
Yeah.
It's more of the mental. I've struggled with depression and
yes.
and with mental health issues, but physically I've been pretty healthy.
That's excellent. Now, I know a lot of the times it's the stigma that is the more of the curse that we were talking about earlier. It's the stigma. It's what people don't understand about the disease. It's no longer a death sentence, as you are a perfect example of that. And but calling in your angels and your guides to assist you with this, because they are like you said, you've been in a deep reflective state for quite a while. Michele said for over at least a year, and trying to figure out your path. What is your passion, Troy? And I'm also getting some suggestions in the chat room here for music therapy. Are you
yes.
connecting with music?
Yeah, I love music, and I listen to very meditative music a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have a master's degree in psychology, so I love to help people.
Yeah.
That's not my original job. I mean, I'm an insurance person in my original job, but I do feel I have somewhat of a gift to help people, and I do love music. Yes, very meditative music is what really soothes me.
Well, check out my piano piece, actually. I'm going to pitch that real quick.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have?
I have,
okay.
John.
Okay.
And yeah, I've listened to your music, and it's absolutely unbelievable. I have listened to your music.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you. And yeah, the room is sending you much love right now. I don't know if you're in their chat room, but sending you much love, and you're getting through this, and it's just finding your way, finding is what it is that lights you up right now, because don't let the world dictate, who they think you are. You show them who you are. Okay.
That's right. That John Williams, excellent advice. And that was channeled.
Thank you very much. I mean, you two are absolutely wonderful. I mean, I get so much comfort listening to you every Wednesday, and Michele, I wish you the best on your fun journeys this summer too.
Thank you, and I will keep you in my thoughts and prayers, Troy. You're a wonderful person, and thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
Yes, keep in touch with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Wow.
Thank you.
Yes,
Woo.
the whole way from Minnesota.
Yeah, wow.
But wasn't that an interesting call?
Yeah.
He's a fantastic person. I just felt his heart.
Yeah, I did too.
Heart chakra.
I did too.
Good person.
Yeah, and the room, like I said, is sending him lots of love, and it's a difficult path. But like you said, he's doing a lot of reflection. He's finding his way. And it's helping to commune more with spirit. That's what like you had said, that's what's happening. It's in, and if you, like we've said many times, life is a cosmic treasure hunt. You're putting the pieces together along this map, which is not, it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like chutes and ladders is a good, it's not point A to point B. Sometimes it's point A to point R, and then back to point B, and then, you know what I mean? So it's just following.
And we all have blessings to count, even the tiniest things.
Exactly. Gratitude is so important. Yeah.
Yeah. The attitude of gratitude, and that helps.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for you and for this show and everybody. So I'm gonna miss you, but I know we're gonna come back with some really cool things for people. Again, we talk about this webinar, these web meetings, however you want to put it. You'll be able to see Michele. She'll be able to see you. You'll be able to see members of the audience. It's going to be really, really cool, and we're looking forward to doing this real soon. Most likely in August. But please sign up at Michele's website, michelivingston1l.com. Go on to where you can sign up for the newsletter. You can actually do it from Facebook too. I added a button there, so you can just click on sign up and sign up there.
Yeah, and keep in touch with messaging me on Facebook, and I have the fan page, and you keep in touch, and my email address, and let me know what's happening in your life. And again, if you have a good story about a pet or an animal, it may include it in my new book. I have been honored and privileged to work with everyone over the last 8 months. And again, it's just a season.
Yes.
I'm not going away for good. So I shall return. And we've accomplished a lot. And I feel that people have been helped, John, through your guidance and hopefully through mine. And so
definitely
I love
through
you
yours.
all. Love you all.
We love
Thank
you.
you so much. I could do shout outs to specific people.
Yeah.
Who have just been so loyal this whole time.
Yes. And they're giving you shout outs in the chat room. So thank you, everybody. And be sure to check out the archives during the hiatus. You can go to Michele's Facebook page, also on our YouTube, and review the videos there. And it's also available on podcast on various different outlets, on iTunes, on UBN Radio, on Spreaker and Stitcher and various different podcast outlets, so you can listen on the go if you can't have your eyes attend to the screen if you're driving or what have you. So so everyone take care, and as we always say,
always be kind.
Be kind. We'll see you
I
guys.
love all of you. God bless you. See you in the fall.
Yay.